husband and I were worried because we were on evacuation warning, but we kept checking and we never had to leave, so that's good.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
People across Southern California refusing to let their guard down with more strong storms moving in. Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. A powerful atmospheric river that took aim at California over the weekend is being blamed for at least 6 deaths tonight. The heavy rain prompted numerous water rescues. Strong winds toppled trees and damaged buildings. And with more storms on the way, the biggest concerns tonight are the threat of mudslides and debris flows in the areas hit by wildfires. Tonight, Southern California is in between systems, but we're still seeing scattered showers in some spots. You can tell by this shot from L.A., giving us a live look at LAX tonight. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez spoke with some people across the region who remain on edge.
My biggest concern has been with the neglected Yucca Trail debris basin.
The wooden structure meant to hold debris off Yucca Trail. It remains a source of concern, especially compared to much sturdier cement basins built to retain runoff. Area residents keeping an eye on time-lapse images of Sierra Madre debris basins. From the ground, Yucca Trail looks unobstructed, but residents know how quickly that can change.
The city, for these 3 storms, has played Russian roulette with the 50 homes that are below the Yucca Trail Dam.
This area has ongoing concerns about rain and mud. For example, these have been here for a while, but those things over there, that's more recent, and it's because of these latest rains.
They've been going on luck, and luck runs out, and we're really lucky that these last 2 storms weren't more severe than they were.
Flood advisories remain in effect, but flood control channels have been working, although we did see spots with some debris building up. A road closed during storm signs, a more official warning than resident-written messages on wooden barricades where they know mud happens.
I mean, my husband and I were worried because we were on evacuation warning, but we kept checking and we never had to leave, so that's good.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
And that was Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez reporting tonight. The body of a missing 7-year-old girl has been found off of California's coast near Big Sur after she and her parents were swept into the ocean. The Monterey County Sheriff's Office says a diver found the girl's body yesterday near Garrapata State Beach, not far from where she was pulled into the water on Friday. Both of her parents went in after her. Her mother made it out, but the father, identified as a 39-year-old from Calgary, Canada, struggled in the water and later died at a hospital. The family issued a statement saying they're thankful for the rescue teams involved and they are asking for privacy. People across the Bay Area started off the work week with some new storms. These are images captured early this morning as rain was falling heavy at times in Richmond. For more, let's bring in KTVU's chief meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking the stormy weather and has more on what we can expect in the coming days across the West. Hey, Mark.
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, it has been an active weather week with multiple storms out there in Southern California. The shower chances could be going up for tomorrow. All these areas in green, in fact, as you can see for these counties out toward Clark, Inyo, towards San Bernardino County. Flood watch is in place Monday night at 10 o'clock for tonight, lasting into Tuesday and into early Wednesday morning. So rainfall could be picking up. As we show you the rainfall forecast, and these numbers will be going up. So the one system over the Bay Area will be making its way down towards Southern California. So we can see those numbers increasing later in the week. And of course, we're talking about another system that could approach the Bay Area. That could be by Tuesday night and into Wednesday. Here's a look at the satellite where you can see the system. This moved into the Bay Area. We showed you that video out of Richmond early in the morning. That was linked up with a pretty potent cold front that moved in, generating some heavy rainfall. This energy is sliding to the south, so as a result of those rain chances, at least increasing somewhat closer to Los Angeles for tomorrow. Here's a closer look at the radar imagery as you can pick out, and also out toward the Sierra. As we come in closer, some coverage, as you can see, just over the past few hours, moving into portions of Southern California, especially over parts of Los Angeles County. Here's the plan for tomorrow. The chance of some rain for Seattle, the chance of some rain for Los Angeles, and then some showers out toward Phoenix. So you can see that area of low pressure kind of positioned down in central and southern California. A cool weather pattern, though, for San Francisco, for the Bay Area. Of course, some rain showers today, but then it looks like that cold air remains in place and some sunshine out toward Denver. So here's the Fox weather model. It does pick up on that unsettled weather pattern, as you can see here, up and down the West Coast. So this is tonight. As we do put this into motion, this is Tuesday morning, 6 o'clock, and some scattered rain showers out toward the central coast. Looks like we have some more activity flaring up in parts of southern Nevada, parts of Arizona, and then we continue to see some action. This is tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock. So this is not a widespread heavy rain event, but still the possibility of some showers for Southern California. Of course, we have those rain showers out toward Phoenix, and then as you can see up to the north, some clouds and just the chance of a shower up toward Seattle. So here is the game plan over the next 3 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, lots of clouds up in the Pacific Northwest. San Francisco, clearing skies, but a cooler day. Temperatures close to 60 degrees. Keep the umbrella handy, especially out toward the Phoenix area for your Tuesday forecast with the possibility of some thunderstorms. We'll keep an eye on those changing conditions in Southern California. It has been quite the active weather week and still remains a bit unsettled over the coming days.
Yeah, we'll stay ready for more rain. Okay, Mark, thank you. The former Alaska Airlines pilot who tried to shut down a plane's engine in the middle of a flight will not serve any additional prison time. Fox 12's Spencer Schott spoke with the pilot's loved ones after a sentencing earlier today in Oregon.
The judge told the PASH courtroom Monday morning that she did not agree with the federal charges that were filed against Emerson in the first place, saying the loss of his pilot's license and the sentencing he received from the county court should be punishment enough. So she decided to sentence him to time served.
It's just relief.
Yeah, overwhelmed that he's getting to be able to help lots of pilots and not be locked up.
Family and friends of Joseph Emerson celebrated the judge's ruling Monday morning. Before the judge made her decision, we heard from Emerson's wife, Sarah Stretch, who said the last 2 years Emerson has turned his life around. He's gone back to school to study addiction studies and is working towards a certificate for recovery assistance. Emerson and his wife have also started a nonprofit called Clear Skies Ahead, with the goal of helping other pilots who are experiencing mental health issues like addiction, and to lobby for changes in the airline industry, such as avoiding punishment for pilots trying to address mental health problems.
That if you're a pilot and you're going through, say you're going through marriage counseling, you need to report that to your medical, to your physician when they're doing your medical, and then they could actually take you, feel they're not fit to fly, because that could be one of the items, and then you would have to get the treatment that you need, which might take 6 months.
But in court, we also heard from multiple people who were on that flight back in 2023, when Emerson tried to cut the engines while off duty and riding in the cockpit's jump seat, forcing an emergency landing in Portland. One passenger said 2 years later, she's still traumatized and no longer feels safe flying. We also heard from the co-pilot who was in the cockpit during Emerson's episode. The co-pilot testified trying to get Emerson out of the cockpit was like approaching a cornered animal, but said this case highlights the need for better mental health screenings for pilots. In the end, the judge sentenced Emerson to time served and 3 years of supervised release. After the judge's ruling, we spoke to Emerson and his wife, asking for an interview. While they declined, they told me that they are excited to be able to move forward with their lives. Reporting in downtown Portland, Spencer Schott, Fox 12 Oregon.
Tonight, we're learning more about the man charged with killing legendary Oakland football coach John Beam, and we're hearing about some of the safety concerns that Beam raised in the days before his death. Today, Alameda County District Attorney Ursula Jones-Dixon announced murder charges against 27-year-old Cedric Irving. Prosecutors say Irving used a .22 caliber handgun to shoot Beam in the head while he was in the field house at Laney College on Thursday. Sources tell KTVU Irving believed that Beam had used witchcraft on him. Student journalist at Laney College helped to break the story that Beam had spoken out about campus safety the day before he was attacked.
He spoke about feeling unsafe at the field house, expressed some concerns about the number of security guards.
On Thursday, I just kept thinking, my God, I just saw him yesterday. He was alive and well.
Beam became nationally known during the Netflix show Last Chance U, which highlighted Laney's football program and other programs at community colleges. Irving is expected back in court tomorrow for his arraignment. Today, President Trump criticized Seattle's mayor-elect and threatened to pull World Cup games from the city.
If we think there's a problem in Seattle where you have a very, very
a liberal/communist mayor. I would say, it's certainly beyond just liberal. I watched her over the weekend. Wow, that's another beauty we got there. But if we think there's going to be a problem, Johnny, can I say we will move? I don't think you're going to have this problem, but we're going to move the event to some place where it's going to be appreciated and safe.
Yeah, well, I think safety and security is the #1 priority.
The president made those comments earlier today as he welcomed FIFA's president to the Oval Office. Seattle Mayor-elect Katie Wilson is a self-declared socialist. During her campaign for mayor, she said making Seattle, quote, Trump-proof was one of her top priorities. We asked her office to comment on the president's criticism. We are still waiting for a response. World Cup matches are set to happen in several U.S. cities next year, including Seattle, Los Angeles, and Santa Clara. Coming up tonight, here on West Coast Wrap, body camera footage of a record-breaking fentanyl bust. After the break, what led DEA agents to a storage unit in Colorado. Also, decades after the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, find out what's putting O.J. Simpson's estate on track for a major payout. Hundreds of National Guard troops deployed to Portland are being sent home. The Trump administration says any troops who remain will stay off the streets as a court battle over their mission plays out. Earlier this month, a judge in Portland issued a permanent injunction blocking the administration from deploying troops in the city. She said the administration failed to establish the argument that the president was legally entitled to do so. The administration has filed an emergency motion seeking to put that ruling on hold while it appeals. It argues the troops are needed because local law enforcement is not doing enough to keep areas around an ICE facility safe. The West Coast Border Patrol leader who was sent to Chicago to oversee immigration enforcement has now moved on to North Carolina. Today's sighting of Gregory Bovino in Charlotte comes on the heels of raids that resulted in more than 130 arrests in that city. He declined to comment on the ongoing operation. Bovino is the chief Border Patrol agent for Southern California's El Centro sector. North Carolina Governor Josh Stein says the tactics being used by federal agents in Charlotte are extreme.
We've seen masked, heavily armed agents in paramilitary garb driving unmarked cars, targeting American citizens based on their skin color, racially profiling and picking up random people in parking lots and off of our sidewalks, going after landscapers simply decorating a Christmas tree in someone's front yard, and entering churches and stores to grab people. This is not making us safer. It's stoking fear and dividing our community.
The Department of Homeland Security insists it is targeting violent criminals in these immigration enforcement operations. The Trump administration is suing California over new laws banning federal agents from wearing masks and requiring visible identification while they're on the job. Federal officials say those laws put agents at risk of harassment and violence, violating the Constitution. California became the first state to ban most law enforcement officers, including federal immigration agents, from covering their faces while conducting official business, citing public safety and the need for transparency. In Colorado, DEA agents believe that a record-breaking fentanyl bust has dealt a blow to one of the most powerful and violent drug cartels. Fox's Kennedy Hayes has the body camera footage showing how this bust unfolded.
Federal agents say this operation prevented fentanyl from flooding communities across the country. The DEA says this seizure is connected to active investigations across 6 states and Mexico, all targeting the Sinaloa cartel, which the Trump administration recently classified as a terrorist organization.
Approximately 198 kilograms, or an estimated 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl pills, along with an additional 12 kilograms of fentanyl powder. This marks the largest ever single seizure of fentanyl in the state of Colorado and the 6th largest ever in the United States. Let's be clear, this seizure represents thousands of lives saved.
Video released today shows the bust, which happened last Tuesday. Agents say someone was trying to buy this storage unit when they noticed the drugs and alerted police. Deputies responded to the facility about 15 miles south of Denver. Colorado Bureau of Investigation agents showed up with search warrants and say the storage locker belonged to a drug courier linked to the Sinaloa cartel, who's been in custody since April in an unrelated case. Investigators are not releasing his identity to protect the ongoing investigations, but the head of Colorado's Bureau of Investigation says wiretap earlier this year uncovered a larger network moving fentanyl into Colorado. The DEA says the volume of drugs found in the locker indicate a sophisticated operation, likely capable of producing millions more pills. Agents demonstrated just how quickly the cartels can make these counterfeit pills. The DEA says just one machine can produce 1.7 million fake pills in just over 2 weeks. And agents say Mexican cartels often use Colorado as a hub due to it being central in the United States, also surrounded by major highways. The DEA agents also say that even though drug overdoses are down nationally right now, fentanyl remains the leading cause of death for adults ages 18 to 45. In Denver, Kennedy Hayes, Fox News.
A home explosion in Chino Hills injured 8 people and damaged 2 nearby homes. Firefighters evacuated 16 homes as crews secured the area and investigated. Witnesses say children were seen running from the rubble. Southern California Gas says it stopped the leak, and people whose homes were not damaged were allowed to return, but 12 customer meters remain temporarily shut off as a precaution. The Utah judiciary today urged civility and respect following a controversial redistricting ruling last week. Officials say several judges and court employees have received threats after a judge rejected a map passed by the Utah state legislature and instead chose a map that she claimed did not favor a political party. That decision was swiftly criticized, including by some who called for the judge to be impeached. The Utah judiciary released a statement reading in part, quote, "Any conduct aimed at causing fear for a ruling or undermining the safe operation of the justice system strikes at the heart of the rule of law." Though the Utah judiciary does not comment on the specifics of any threats made toward judges or court employees, we acknowledge that such incidents have recently occurred. Airports across the country working to get operations back to normal tonight. This is a live look at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, one of the 40 U.S. airports where regular flight schedules were allowed to resume this morning. Flight numbers have been reduced for more than a week because of the country's government shutdown. And flights are getting back on schedule just in time for the Thanksgiving travel season. AAA's travel forecast predicts 82 million people will be on the move for the holiday. That's 1.6 million more people than last year, setting a new overall record. Some passengers say they're ready to take to the sky, but the numbers are showing a different trend. 1.3 million more people are expected to travel by car this year compared to last year. 90% of travelers are predicted to drive to their destinations.
That's actually typically normal. Most people do drive to their Thanksgiving destination. That's because family typically does live close by for most Americans. But again, we are projecting that number could be slightly higher because of everything impacting the airlines.
Several airlines have also taken to social media to share that things are returning to normal and they are ready for the holidays. Well, a critical vote in Congress tomorrow that could ultimately force the Department of Justice to release everything it has on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is happening as President Trump now says Republicans should release all of the Epstein files. This is a reversal to what the president has been saying for months. President Trump maintains he knew nothing about Jeffrey Epstein's crimes despite the friendship between the two of them. During his campaign, President Trump supported releasing the Epstein files, but then reversed course, calling the investigations a Democrat hoax and slamming Republicans for pushing for their release. And now he has flipped once again.
I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do.
This is clearly a jujitsu move by the president in his continued cover-up of these files. He is already under a legal obligation to produce these files to Congress and has not complied with the subpoena.
If the House votes to release the files, it remains unclear if the Senate will do the same, and ultimately, President Trump still has veto power. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, a payout worth more than $57 million. That's what O.J. Simpson's estate has agreed to decades after the killings of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Coming up, why the Goldman family still may not see most of that money. Plus, it is an unusual way to get rid of pumpkins. Tonight, how this display in Utah calls back to medieval times. In tonight's NFC West update, the LA Rams now sit alone atop the division. The Rams had the same record as the Seahawks heading into Sunday's game against Seattle. The Rams came out on top in this one, 21-19. They now have an 8-2 record on the season. The Seahawks are now sitting in second place in the NFC West with a 7-3 record. The San Francisco 49ers are in third place in the division, followed by the Arizona Cardinals. A beached humpback whale in Oregon has now been euthanized. The female whale was discovered along Oregon's central coast on Saturday night. Rescue teams say it appears the whale got caught in derelict crabbing lines. After successful attempts to get the whale back in the water, the whale was euthanized today. Rescue teams believe the whale was about 1 year old and weighed up to 50 tons. O.J. Simpson's estate has agreed to pay nearly $58 million to Ron Goldman's father decades after a civil jury found Simpson liable for the deaths of Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. Fred Goldman has spent years trying to get Simpson to pay the money that was awarded in the civil case after Simpson was found not guilty of the murders in the 1994 criminal trial. Simpson died of cancer last year. The executor of his estate says Simpson's assets likely won't be able to cover anything close to the $58 million award. I talked earlier with TMZ's Charlie Neff about these latest developments.
There's definitely a big question if that's even possible. But like I mentioned, the attorney is claiming that they do have things to sell. They are going to try to get that money to Fred Goldman. And I did speak to, I got a family statement from the Goldmans, and they basically said, like, yes, this is a positive step, but look, are we going to get money back? Unclear. And it didn't really sound like they were too, optimistic about seeing that money, but it is a positive step in their direction.
And the Goldman family is saying at this point they will simply continue to monitor the probate process and try to get as much money as they can. Finally, tonight, a community in Utah comes together for a fun and messy way to say goodbye to their old pumpkins. And there you go. That is one way to do it. They all gathered at a church parking lot for the annual Pumpkin Catapult event. Participants brought out their old pumpkins from Halloween, which were loaded into a catapult and launched safely, smashing into a big pile of mush. This event takes inspiration from the trebuchet. That's a powerful medieval device that was used to hurl heavy projectiles. That is one way to get rid of those pumpkins. All right. Does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching as always, and a reminder before we go here, you can stay up to date on all the big stories we're covering across the West, including the storms and the severe weather we're tracking. All of it is up at our website, westcoastwrap.com. And don't forget to stream our shows for free on the Fox Local app. Have a great night.